Michael?
Yeah, I remember, this is on, okay. I actually spoke to Channel 15 about this issue the day we had the march and urged that this be supported. I was surprised several years ago when we had a referendum that did pass, a successful referendum for DCFS, which is one agency. But it passed. The voters found it in their hearts to support that. And even with the passage of that referendum, we still have a lower level of funding serving that population than many adjoining states. One speaker quoted, I believe it was Jefferson, I hope I'm not mistaken, but the famous quote that government governs best that governs least. Generally, we embrace that, I believe. But it was uttered by a gentleman many decades after township governments were established in the colonies, well before there was a United States of America, long before there were revolutionaries who agitated for the establishment of a United States of America. There were township governments. It is the oldest form of government in North America, and its primary purpose is the provision of general assistance. It survives almost exclusively for that purpose. It is grotesquely underfunded, grotesquely. And even at a time when it was widely believed that government governs best, that governs least, it was assumed almost without examination that township assistance was mandatory, that it was above question. It was so fundamental to a civilized community's conduct toward its inhabitants and citizens. We seem still to believe that, and yet a couple of years ago we had a referendum for a higher level of funding for township assistance fail. No one fully understands why. Many claims are made. The inscrutability of the language has been mentioned, having to do with what the voter sees when they enter the polling place. And because of some peculiarities of government and law, that language will be inscrutable again. But to the extent that one of the speakers was right that people are watching tonight, and that they've waited out all of this, and all the scintillating matters of public interest that we dealt with as legislation and the comments subsequent to it, I would hope that I could offer this admonishment that people support this. And yes, it was spoken of as a compromise. The last time this was presented, it was 5 cents per $100. This time it's 2 cents per $100. That is a compromise in excess of half. The proposal has been cut well over half from what it was 2 years ago, at a time when we still anticipated a level of economic activity and general economic health that we will not enjoy in the coming year or two or three. We are facing an economic downturn where the people who live on the margin are the people most likely to fall. It is those people who are assisted by the township government. We've had 2 poverty summits in this chamber in the last couple of years, with a great many visual aids and films and interviews with recipients of public assistance. And those recipients are not persons who can be profiled in any particular specific way. They were persons who have terrible medical difficulties, who take advantage to the extent that they can of every available service that would enable them just to stay alive, not to flourish, not to afford any luxuries, just to live another day. This is a responsibility of a community, never mind the government. The government is just an expression of the community, codified and distilled through elections and law. But even the founding fathers' fathers in colonial America recognized that whatever resentment they have about tariff or stamps or taxes on tea, general assistance provided by the townships is fundamental. It's fundamental to the American and pre-American experiences in North America. We are the last vestige of that as a township government in the 21st century, and that's all the township government really does. That's what it does. But we have to go directly to the electors, the voters, as a township, to ask that they perpetuate this great American tradition of this form of assistance through this venue. That's what will happen on Election Day in early November. And I hope whatever power my voice would have is lent to the effort to pass that. We have seen fit to do it for 300 years on this continent, and we face a disparity of income and wealth distribution unprecedented in that 300 years on this continent. Now is as good a time as any to codify a level of compassion that has been quantified as less than half what was asked for 2 years ago. So I can't add much to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council comment?